This is Chris Lee of Southeastern 14, presented by the Bearded Iris Brewing Company, here to go over SEC baseball action from Sunday, May the 7th. Let's start in Lexington, where Kentucky, and frankly, a weekend of surprises, may have pulled the biggest one, sweeping South Carolina in three games that really, for the most part, weren't all that close. Kentucky wins this one 9-2. Let's start with the Wildcats. I thought the biggest story in this one was Zack Lee. I saw him pitch in Nashville last weekend. He was really good. He follows that up with a 6 2/3 innings start in which he gives up 2 runs, both earned, throws 105 pitches. As you know, Kentucky's got a very deep bullpen. Mason Moore among the guys who pitched in that one. He gave Kentucky a scoreless inning. Kentucky's bullpen finishes its out with 2 1/3 scoreless innings. One of the strangest plays of the year that we saw was James McCoy hitting an inside the park home run and what was kind of looked like a routine fly ball to right center that just got lost in the sun. Kentucky gets 12 hits, takes 6 walks, just rampage the South Carolina pitching staff all weekend. Again, I continue to say I think Kentucky's a very underrated team. And I think when we do regional projections this week, Kentucky's got to be a top 8 national seed because I don't know how else you do it with the team that is 14-10 in the SEC and number 1 in the RPI. As for South Carolina, I was really impressed when I saw the Gamecocks a couple of weekends ago in Nashville. I guess it's been 3 now. I thought at the time that might be the top team in the country. But the team Carolina is fielding right now and the team that I thought it had are not the same team right now. Carolina just cannot get healthy. Will McGillis, Talmadge McCoy, Braylon Wimmer all out. Now, a couple of those guys I think were out, or maybe one of them when they played here 3 weekends ago. Noah Hall's still out. I don't know when he comes back. And Eli Jersenbach, one of Carolina's key bullpen arms, also I guess, removed from the game on Sunday with an injury that, as far as I know, on Monday morning is undisclosed. Carolina gets a home run from Dylan Brewer. But anyway, the pitching just kind of fell apart in Lexington this weekend. And the Gamecocks, man, just get those guys healthy and let's see what they can do. Arkansas ended the weekend in a first-place tie with Vanderbilt thanks to a sweep at Mississippi State. The story again for Arkansas, the bullpen just keeps on plugging. Zach Morris gives Arkansas 3 scoreless innings. I think that was probably the big key in this game, that the long balls keep coming for the Razorbacks. Diggs, Borfin, Slavens all hit home runs. I think Borfin and Slavens hit home runs in multiple games this week, and I'm doing that from memory. Arkansas, man, the injuries. Arkansas has been hit by more injuries than maybe anybody in the league this year. It just hasn't seemed to matter. This team just keeps bringing it weekend after weekend. For Mississippi State, man, it fired the pitching coach a couple of weekends ago, and it just hasn't made any difference. State, for a while, pitched a little better. It all went backwards again this weekend. It didn't matter who State threw out there. It just didn't work. Drangela St. Joe, their guy who was their number 1 starter for a while, pitched in the 3rd game, started that one, gave up 5 runs, all those earned. Nate Dome, their bullpen ace, came in and gave up 4 runs, although none of those were earned in the middle of things when maybe State had a chance to make a charge. Anyway, Arkansas wins this one 11-6. State would miss Hoover as of today. Arkansas, again, tied with Vandy atop the SEC's overall lead. That is because in Auburn, the Tigers do something that would be the Auburn Tigers do something that nobody's done all year, and that's take a series from LSU, this in lopsided fashion, 12-2. This ends in run rule fashion in the 8th. Auburn has quietly gotten some good pitching performances lately. We've talked about Tommy Vale. Christian Herberholz goes 5 innings, gives up 2 runs, 1 of those earns. Nelson Drew comes in with 3 scoreless, only faces 10 hitters. That's really hard to do against LSU. Cason Howell had 3 triples and knocked in 5 runs. For LSU, boy, the starting pitching just went poorly this weekend. Really, all the pitching did, for the most part, outside of Paul Skeens, unless there's something I'm forgetting from Friday. Christian Little does not get an out. Gives up 5 runs, all those earned, 4 walks and a hit. The bullpen, no better. Griffin Herring, Gavin Guidry, Riley Cooper, all giving up runs. That pen has really sprung a lot of leaks lately. And really, when Ty Floyd isn't pitching well, it seems like things are not going well for the Tigers there. LSU lost the number 1 spot, I think, in the rankings this morning to Wake Forest. That's the number 1 overall spot. Auburn gets a massive win, is now 11-13 in the league. And I think if you pick the field today, and we'll do bracketology and regional projections later in the week, I think Auburn's got to be in, and maybe even as a 2. Georgia, in one of the surprises of the weekend. Well, I say a surprise. I don't know that it was a surprise because Georgia's been good in Foley Field. Tennessee, I think, has won, 2 road games all year, 2-11, 2-12, something like that. I'm doing that from memory. I think one of the big stories of the weekend was Georgia's bullpen was really good. Who had that on the bingo card coming into the weekend? Liam Sullivan goes 3 1/3 innings, gives up 3 runs, 4 overall. You're thinking this is really where it could go bad for Georgia, playing in Foley Field on a Sunday against a team that can hit some long balls. But that's not what happened. Kyle Greenler, Colin Caldwell, Dylan Radins, and Leighton Finley combined to finish off scoreless the rest of the day, putting Georgia at 10-14 in the SEC, and I think a team that, if I were picking, would probably put in a regional. Now, I may go back on that later on the week when I do my regional projections and really dig in and compare the Bulldogs to other teams, but Georgia really needed to get a series win here, and it did. I think for Tennessee, I'm not going to call this fatal to Tennessee's hosting hopes yet, but obviously you've got to be a couple of games above 500 in the league. Tennessee, South Carolina, that's going to be a tough place to win if Carolina can get healthy. Vols 12-12, and again, I think that road record will probably be something that the committee will hold under a lot of scrutiny as it looks at Tennessee's resume. For Georgia, what it does is it hits home runs on its big offensive days. Levi Harbor hit his 16th. Charlie Condon hit 2 more. I think that was 3 this weekend. He's got 22 now. Drew Beam got hit hard. That's been the case in a couple of the starts recently. He gives up 8 earned runs in 4 1/3 innings, 7 of those earned. The Vols, again, 12-12 in the SEC. I think tracking for a 2 seed right now. Probably going to be difficult for Tennessee to budge much off that line. Again, Tennessee gets hot, can still host. Tennessee doesn't get hot, then maybe you could see the Vols drop to the 3 line, but I think 2 is a good chance of where Tennessee is going to settle. Okay, our channel is presented by the Bearded Iris Brewing Company. The Sylvan Supply location in West Nashville is home to Black Dynasty Secret Ramen House. You'll find a wide variety of the comforting bowls of meaty and vegan-friendly ramen with house-made noodles alongside rotating weekly features, seasonal sides, salads, and desserts. If you are in the Nashville area, stop in West Nashville to the Bearded Iris Brewing Company and tell them you heard about our channel or heard about them from our SEC channel here at Southeastern 14. Okay, last one. In another bit of, I don't know if you'd call it an upset series, because home teams in the SEC really cleaned up this weekend with the exception of Mississippi State. A&M takes the rubber match in that one in a pitcher's duel, which I don't think anybody saw coming. And it ends in a balk-off. Brandon Neely is on the mound, just flinched with that left knee, sends a runner home from third. Not the way I would have figured this going, a 3-2 game ending with a balk-off. For Florida, it's only 2 runs. Came on home runs by White Langford and Tyler Shelnut. The thing for A&M is finally got good pitching. Evan Aschenbeck, who I think pitched Friday, didn't pitch well, goes 3 1/3, gives up 1 earned run. That was maybe the key. Will Johnston gave A&M a really good start, which it has not had in forever. He strikes out 5 over 4 1/3, gives up 1 run. That was earned. Brandon Garcia closes that one out with an inning and a third to get the win. Florida drops to 15-9, and really, I think Florida almost had to have that one if it was going to win the SEC overall or the East. Although Florida and Vandy next weekend, you could see that one shift in a hurry if Florida were to sweep. But Florida really needed this one, didn't get it. A&M now 11-13, and I think a 2 or 3 isn't at large at this point. Okay, thanks for watching our channel at Southeastern 14. Remember to subscribe. That is free. That's like hitting the like button. It costs you nothing. And if you like this video, drop in some comments. And also, if you would hit that like button, that helps us get noticed with analytics. We'll be back with regional projections, power rankings, all kinds of stuff, recaps here at Southeastern 14. So continue to watch us throughout the week. I'm Chris Lee of Southeastern 14. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you again very soon.